This podcast is sponsored by Tarshish London. It is a lovely Turkish and Mediterranean cuisine. Isn't the food amazing?
Honestly, I'm such a foodie, aren't I, Lauren?
Yeah.
Like, I really, food's my whole life, and it is one of the nicest restaurants I've ever eaten in, and I haven't stopped talking about it, have I?
No, it's definitely a hidden gem, and the nearest tube station is Turnpike Lane Tube Station, and it's 16 to 20 High Road in London. So that's Tarshish London, 16 to 20 High Road, nearest tube station, Turnpike Lane. Hi guys, welcome to the Yours Sincerely podcast with me, Lauryn Goodman.
And me, Lisa Andrews.
So literally this is going to be one powerful pod, isn't
It
it?
certainly is. No holds barred whatsoever. We will be saying it as it is and from the heart.
Yeah, it's true. And seeing as there's been a lot of stuff that just gets bolted out there, we're going to try and stop that and just speak from our own experiences anyway, from life experiences and what's happening and filming and just everything really, aren't we?
Yep, everything.
We probably should get into how me and Lisa actually met.
Yes, I slipped into Lauren's DMs, didn't I?
Sounds awful.
Slipped straight into her DMs. All jokes aside, basically, the story is I saw Lauren, she popped up on my Instagram, and the strange thing is we weren't friends, I didn't know her, and she caught my eye. The first thing I saw was a little bump. I'm sure she was on the beach, and I remember thinking, oh my God, she looks amazing.
I definitely didn't know what pictures are you
did.
talking about.
No, you did. You had a little bump, and I just thought
Not the
that
green
is
bikini
so
pictures.
Cute. Yeah.
No, that they were the worst set of pregnancy. They were horrendous. Pap literally got me in Barbados. I had pulled up my bikini. It looked so tacky. I was trying to get the maximum tan. And
Well-
you're going to try and say...
Well, my version is I saw this little bump and just thought, oh, doesn't she look cute?
This is with Cairo, by the way, guys.
Then
This is...
something caught my eye, and I don't know what was written, but something made me think, hold on, let me look into this a little bit deeper. I really don't sit on Instagram and nose because I really don't have time, but something made me click on Lauren's page. So clicked on, and as I looked, it really resonated with me because I thought, hold on, this girl has got a story, and it was like looking at my younger self. Not as good looking as Lauren was. However, it made me realise that I needed to speak to her. So I sent her a little message. I needed to talk to this girl. I did. And I messaged her and said, hey, Lauren, I'm a crank. No. Hey, Lauren, you don't know me, but I've been through what you're about to go through. And I think I basically said, fasten your seatbelt because this is going to be one hell of a ride.
Yeah, and I literally had no idea what she meant at the time. I was like, oh, Lord. And actually, I think your son also messaged me as well, Harley. And he basically, I think he was talking about Cairo and was saying, look, if you ever need to speak to somebody that's actually been through it, let me know. We all three of us connected, didn't we?
We really did. And you and Harley have been great friends, haven't you? And
When you've been a great friend.
oh, I look at Lauren, Cairo, and our little Keeks as family now. And this is a journey that I've been 20 years or so ahead of Lauren. And this is just a beginning for her, really.
Well, I think people probably will want to know what you mean by that, because we've not actually got into that. Obviously, for people that don't know you or whatever.
So a lot of people won't know me. I'm a different era to Lauren, but I had a son called Harley with Nigel Benn.
Who was Nigel Benn?
Nigel Benn was a world champion boxer, probably best known for fighting Eubank, the Eubank-Benn fight. That was probably what most people would relate that to.
Yeah.
It has been a really tough journey, really tough. And even to this day, it's still tough.
Don't say
27 years later, and I'm sure my son at some point will tell his side of it. I think the most thing that makes me relate with Lauryn, or a big thing that makes me relate with Lauryn, is when lies are painted about you, when untruths are said, when the story isn't quite right, but it suits the other person for it to be that way. And which brings us on to men in power, men with money. They have a louder voice, and you seem to get lost.
Yeah,
under
that's.
all the
I
noise.
think that is also why I was really, really grateful for Celebs Go Dating, because I felt as though somebody wasn't going to be there constantly just trying to, make my voice less heard. And I think with the media, like you said, money, power, or just like a bigger status or whatever it is, they always seem to go with that sort of narrative as well. So, and it's just constant, isn't it? So it's just one of those where you just kind of have to crack on with it. But at least with the pod, you can, speak from yourself and nothing's edited. Because even with TV, things are edited. So you never know.
100%. And I think with this pod, why me and Lauryn thought, come on, let's do this. There's a lot of women out there in our position. We don't for 1 minute think we're special or that our story is any worse than any other mum, really, that's going through an absent father that, denies his kids, doesn't do the right thing. It's painful for mum and the child. So we're hoping that we can definitely help other people, other women.
I think it also will help probably people that have been in relationships where they feel as though, they end their relationships and then, like you said, all these untruths are spoken and it makes them out to be like such a horrendous person. It's like, hold on a minute, they clearly weren't that horrendous to begin with because you were with that person.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? It makes no sense. How can you say that somebody is, this or that or whatever negative things you're saying about them, but it's like, well, you were happy to make children with that person, so they couldn't have been that bad, or you've known them for so long, so if they were genuinely like that, why would you go near with them again? Exactly. Do you know what I mean? So I think people kind of, they don't look at logic when they're kind of reading things. They just kind of read what they're being fed and will take it in. Do you know what I mean?
Take that in. And I think as well, another side of this is the woman that's with that particular person plays a very big part in how the future goes with the child, and the woman that wasn't, maybe for want of a better phrase, the chosen one. As in, if a guy chooses to stay or be with one woman, but there's another family, I think the woman plays a very big part in how that man goes about
whether they have a relationship with the child or not. I hear that totally. I mean, obviously, a lot of people say that as well, that they would never be with somebody that encouraged a man not to have a relationship with the child, etc., because that is just so plain wrong.
It's, for me, it's the lowest thing a woman can do. As in, as a mother, I could never go to bed at night knowing that the man that's in bed next to me isn't doing right by his child. That's your blood. For me, I'd kick him out the bed.
So for me, I was with somebody for 7 years, and I even spoke about this on Celebs Go Dating. I was like, he cheated on me. I found out, and so I gave him a chance. And then when he did it again for that second chance, I was like, no. So I left.
So you gave a chance.
I gave a chance.
Yeah.
And then I think I realised that by giving that chance that they just won't change.
Yeah.
Like literally the same behavioural patterns just continue. And it's like until you break that cycle, nothing's going to change.
Yeah. I agree. I think everyone deserves a chance. But that makes me want to ask you. So that relationship wasn't Kyle, was it? That was...
No, that was I had a
previous relationship.
It was a previous relationship, yeah.
I mean...
And I gave Kyle a chance, but obviously...
Of course.
Coming back for Cairo and the
but
relationship.
Was that for Cairo, or did you love Kyle? Do you love Kyle?
I think Celebs Go Dating asked me this question. I don't really know how to answer it because I just always know that there's eyes and ears everywhere, and I always get really freaked out by...
And Lauryn doesn't like the L word.
I do for my kids. No, it
does.
You're horrible.
It does.
No, it's just... Obviously, we've had 2 children together, so obviously there were feelings there, but I just feel like I don't want to make someone's ego bigger than what it already is. So I feel like I'm going to leave that.
Well, I'm all right with the ego. So
I wasn't talking about my ego.
No, I'm all right with
Stroking someone else's.
Yeah, as in,
Yeah, well, yours is 27 years down the line.
yeah, and as similar as we are, Lauren, there are some differences. And Nigel was the absolute love of my life. Like, I mean, I loved every hair on his head. We've had this conversation.
Has he got much hair on his head?
Not anymore. And I don't love it anymore. But I did as a young girl, woman. I was 26 years old when I met him and fell madly in love. So, you know, it hurt.
It's funny because they also painted you out, didn't they, to have a one-night stand?
Oh, I was a one-night stand for 6 years. I mean, I am exhausted. Like, that was the longest night of my life.
I've had 2 one-night stands.
2 one-night stands you've had. So, you know, I mean, when someone calls you a one-night stand, it could mean anything these days.
Yeah, it could mean
But
years.
mine, without bringing everything into it, long story short, Nigel was married when I met him, told me they were splitting up, and that was to his first wife. Partner that he's with now and has been with and had children with, that have painted me out to be the one-night stand, was actually, put my teeth back in, an affair behind my back. You know, I was with him before this certain person, but yet to suit their image, I was painted as the affair,
right.
the one-night stand. And it isn't right. And I've never, ever, ever screamed from the rooftop, actually, no, I'm not leaving this world without my true story, purely for my children. Like, when I leave this earth, everyone will know my story, whether they're interested or not.
No, there will, because people will be able to relate. Like, I related so hard to it. And every time something's happening, I'm like, oh my God. And you go, no, Lauren, it's just, it's reliving. Like, it really is.
Oh, it's so bad. Like, even today, like, can we talk about today? So we picked Cairo up from his last day at nursery, didn't we? And he was saying goodbye to everyone. And I looked at Lauren, tough as old boots, and I went to her, because I remember Harley's last day and Layla's, my daughters, and me just crying at the gate like a Fruit Loop. But Lauren went, I said, Lauren, are you all right? She went, yeah, as if to say, like, what you want about? Next minute, I look round and she's like sobbing.
I didn't want Cairo to see
trying
me
to
cry.
hide from Cairo, and I just thought, I remember, and you know what?
You're going to make me relive it. And the thing is,
I know,
literally, as we were standing there, all his friends gathered and all his teachers.
So cute. So cute. But I'm going to say this.
He doesn't even realise, like, he doesn't even know that he's not. Because I said to him, oh, you're going to make some new friends tomorrow at your school. Like, are you excited? And he went, oh, is Otto going to be there? Or is Nina going to be there? And I was like, no, new friends.
Yeah. And I think a lot of you mums that are in similar situations will relate. It's a milestone and dad's not standing there. And I know some dads are not there all the time for certain reasons, work, blah, blah, blah. But when they're just not there because they don't want to be there,
or not necessarily they don't want to be there.
Or they're not allowed to be there, or whatever the reason, or they don't have a pair of balls, whatever the reason.
They have a pair of balls to make the child, but then the pair of balls
to not
disappear.
Follow it through. It hurts. It does hurt.
I think it also hurts them, to be honest. Well, I would like.
I think, is that wishful thinking? Are we wishful thinking?
I don't know, because I look back on things and I go, what was true and what wasn't true? That is part of the problem that I find myself in these days. I'm like, what bit of that, was that a lie? Was that actually how you felt? Was I just being fed this to, like, do whatever you were doing at the time? It's really hard. I don't think I can work out what was true and what wasn't, to be honest.
No, it's not.
Because you have to now go by actions now. But even though I feel like I feel as though when people are in desperate times, they do desperate things.
I agree.
And then I feel as though stakes become higher, and then unless you kind of put your foot down and kind of say what you want genuinely out of a situation, like say I was to say to you, right, I want to be with Mark, okay, but I've had a child with Fred, okay, and I've got children with Mark.
Not Fred.
I don't know why I've become a friend, Fred and Mark.
Yeah.
Okay. So I really want to be with Mark. Got children with Mark. Got family with Fred as well, right? But I then turn around and I'm honest with everyone, right?
Yeah.
And I go, I want to see all of my children,
Absolutely.
but I want to be with Mark. How can you go wrong with that? You're just being honest to everyone in the situation. But where you're trying to please everyone all the time,
Yeah.
you're never going to please everyone, and someone's always going to be hurt, and they will be your blood, maybe, you know, or someone else.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, I just feel as though if you're just transparent with the situation,
100%.
how can you then have a go at somebody?
No, and absolutely. And if, for example, in my situation, all it needed was one person to go, I done wrong here. I loved my son's dad. He may not have loved me, but he told me he did. So I'm going on what I was told.
That's the thing,
and
when they tell you these
and,
things.
you know, when I said I can't do this anymore, please wait for me, stay, all them things.
And it's like, you know, let me just get my ducks in a row, or
Yeah.
let me just figure things out, you know, please. Or it's all of these things, and you're kind of
yeah.
holding on to it, aren't you? And,
Yeah.
and it can be like, okay, and you give the time, and you give the time, and then more time goes by, and you're like, okay,
100%.
well, when is this happening? You
But
know?
what a man needs to do, and if any men are watching this, please listen to me. If you have done things that are hurting people, hold your hands up. In our scenarios, say, you know what, I've hurt everyone, but I'm not hurting my children, any of my children, not just those ones over there. I'm not going to hurt that one over there or those two over there either, and stick by it, because the issues you will cause them children in the long run are so unfair. So unfair.
Well, I think Lisa's obviously talking from experience with her child Harley, and I'm sure he'll come on here and he'll talk about it.
Absolutely.
Because it's really sad. It is really, really fucking
Really
sad. And to be
sad.
honest, his story just...
Harley's story is...
It's a lot, because
it's such a lot. I
Yeah.
bet that's for him. But what Lawrence just said, he will come on and talk about it. But I so don't want to... I love Cairo and Kiki, and I so don't want them to go through even a quarter of what Harley's gone through. Like, I really don't, Lauren, and that's from the heart, because it's shit to watch your child hurt.
Well, obviously, Kyra already, you know, he asked questions, etc. I mean, I put up little snippets on my Instagram under the My Truths highlight reel, because I wanted people to kind of understand that my child hasn't just formed a bond with somebody over meeting 4 times. Like, it's ridiculous. And, you know, he literally takes a Euro England sticker to bed with him, with his dad on there, and he'll put it in his drawer in his bedside table, and he'll get it out and he'll cuddle him and he'll put him back in his drawer.
Yeah.
Like, how sad is that?
Yeah.
Like, these are the lengths he's going to. I mean, if I could remove that sticker from that drawer and hide it and get away with it,
Yeah.
I would. But the fact is, I won't get away with it. I don't want to upset my child further and to make an issue out of something, and for him to go, my mummy, are you taking that away? Like, why? Where is it? And then get upset.
My advice to you on those scenarios, you can't, because trust me, as he gets older, and, you know, we'd be in Tesco's or wherever we'd be, and someone would say to Harley, don't you look like your dad? I know your dad is, blah, blah, blah. You don't get away from it. I remember a really strong memory I've got is being indoors. Harley was about 12, walked in, he'd been to football actually, came in, normally he's starving, went straight upstairs, and I thought that's weird, but left him. Then I was like, Harley, are you all right? You coming downstairs? He came down, didn't want to talk. I said, what's wrong? And he said, nothing. And he said, just I feel embarrassed. And at 12, for your child to say, I said, what are you embarrassed about? He said, you know, the cab driver said, oh, I know your dad is, don't you look like him? Your dad's my hero. He's this, he's that, which is all fair enough in the boxing world. But as Harley got out the car, he said to Harley, say hello to your dad for me. And Harley said, I can't even say hello to my dad for me, let alone for someone else. And it is like a dagger in your heart.
Oh, that's awful.
And I'll never, ever forget that. And there wasn't a lot I could say to that. You know, that's something that we have to live with.
And you can't even take that pain away. This is the thing. Like, if you could take away any pain for your child, you would, right?
100%.
Like, you're just in no man's land with it.
Yeah.
It's fucked, to be honest.
It really is. And I have so many stories like that. I won't even bore you because...
It's not boring, though, but it would be good, obviously, throughout the pod to get
as we go. Because I could sit here now and reel off 100 occasions like that.
Well, I think with this pod, there's going to be things that come out, you know, from our past with relationships in general, what we think about the whole men and women situation, what's going on currently, or anything that gets put out that isn't correct. You know, I think that things will just slowly come out as they're meant to be honest.
And I think another thing we'll touch on is, where do you go from there relationship-wise? How do you move on to a new relationship when your trust has been so shattered that you won't ever want to open up to anyone again?
That's literally one of the things that people are like, oh, why is she on Celebs Go Dating? She's not even over her ex. Like, why is she doing a dating show? It's like, listen, if I didn't try and do the dating show, you'd all have something to say, right?
1,000,000%.
Oh, you're not over it. Da, da, da. Bearing in mind, so this was like December, do you know what I mean? I knew by having the conversation with his wife, I knew which way it was going to go. It was going to be the same result as last time, you know. My children wouldn't have a relationship with him, etc. Like, I knew the way it was going to go. So I could have obviously kept my daughter a secret and let him continue seeing them and just continued, and no one would have been none the wiser. You know, I could have done that, but I felt as though my daughter deserved the respect because Cairo had it.
Absolutely.
You know, and so I had to show the same respect to Keeks. And, you know, for my children's sake, I always go through the, would I keep a relationship with him private, you know, would I do that? And I go through the whole principle thing in my head, and I'm like, I would, because it's got nothing to do with anyone else and it's all down to what's best for my children. And then on the other hand, I'm like, well, because of everything that's been put out now, would I actually want some public recognition for my children? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I get that.
Stand there on a mountain with a flipping microphone and declare,
these are as important as the others.
Because
there's no difference.
How I have this battle in my head all the time. Would I not? It's so hard because you want to try and put your feelings or whatever you want to call it aside for your kids and do what's right for your kids. But also, I think a thing which you spoke to me about was the whole in, out. You felt as though it destroyed Harl. And I agree. Like, I feel as though I can't have the whole in, out. And I've always said a present and consistent parent is the only way that you can't screw somebody up mentally.
No, you're right.
Like, you don't know whether they're coming or going.
Yeah.
They've got to have stability, and I'm all about routine. Anyone that follows me on Instagram will probably know, like, I'm quite regimental with stuff like that. You know, I follow, like, I'm a bit.
You're much better than me at things
I'm
like
just
that.
a bit
You
strict
stick to stuff. I'm a little bit wishy-washy. But I think with what you're saying on that note, that coming in and out, it's...
pun intended.
Coming in and out.
That's what happened.
Anyway, wrap up. I think that that does mess.
Coming in and out.
Coming in and out ends in children.
Wanted children.
That's another thing. No.
Oh,
now
don't.
You said that,
Sorry, it fucks me off.
So, since I've had Harley, we've always been trolled like that. This boils my blood. So we always get messaged, "You're the reject." Harley always get messages.
Yeah, but like, what sick individual says that to someone?
I deal with
they don't have children, because
they do. When you go on their
twisted.
profile pictures, they do.
And it is so
And
weird.
I really don't mind that I was a reject. I'm quite glad I'm a reject now. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. Yeah, I'm so glad he rejected me, and I genuinely mean that, because we would never ever have worked anyway. I would never have lived the life that they lived. So, you know, it was meant to be. But to tell my son, anyone that messages my son that, oh, you're the unwanted Ben. No, actually, do you know what? He was very wanted. certainly by me.
No, but they were wanted. This is the thing.
Yeah, and he was wanted by his dad at the time. He might have changed his mind, but he was certainly wanted, hence... And I have all proof to back that up.
But it's hence the relationships. Like, if they didn't want them, why are they having a relationship with them? Do you know what I mean? If it's so stupid for people to even comment
on the outside, But how do you say that to a child? I'd never say to a child.
No, but also, how do they think it's going to be for the child when they're older to look back and see those comments or to look back and see those videos or whatever? Unwanted. No, they were wanted. Whatever you may believe, that's fine. But trust me, they were wanted.
Yeah.
End of.
Absolutely. And that brings me, I'm moonwalking back. How, as a woman, do you say to someone, I don't want you to see that child?
I think it's an insecurity thing. It's got to be. Why else would you?
I think it's evil. I
get loads of women saying that to me on my
really
Instagram.
Find it, like, I think any woman that does that is a witch. Like, who says you can't see that baby, or I don't want you to see that baby? Ultimately, it's the man's decision in the end. But when a woman says, actually, let's leave that child without a father, shall we? Like, are you actually kidding me? If those words came out of my mouth, shoot me now. Like, fucking shoot me. Like,
you're trying to get me put in prison.
No, but fucking shoot me. Because I would never, ever say it. Like, makes me actually...
For the avoidance of doubt, if she gets shot, it wasn't me.
If I get shot, we know who it is. It wasn't Lauren. Shaggy, wasn't me.
Shaggy. I thought you said shagging me. I was like, no, Lisa, I don't swing that way. Although, who knows, because it's not been great.
No.
Should we get on to a bit about celebs go dating?
Yeah, because I would like you to not give your version, but I know we've basically, when you first told me you were going to go on or were offered, you were like, I can't do it. I actually pushed for you to go on here, didn't I? I said I think it would be amazing. And celebs go dating, and I'm hoping that it was also therapy for you, but only you can tell us that.
It was definitely therapy. Intense therapy.
Yeah.
But do you know what? I felt like it catapulted me into a place where it may have taken a little while longer, like maybe another year or a year and a half.
20 years or something.
No, please, God, no. No.
It took me 5 years.
Listen, I was good. And when Cara was 2.5, I was good. And then came back and then...
Yeah.
Here we are again. So I will be fine. I will be absolutely fine. You know, I'm back in the gym now. I'm getting my routine back. Obviously, it's hard when you're still breastfeeding, but
of course.
And that was hard as well. Like filming, breastfeeding, it's a lot on you, isn't it?
I read about Lauren's a diva, and one of the reasons was spending the day there and wanting to leave. And I thought, because I know her personally, right, she's not a diva. She wants to get home because she's still breastfeeding Kiki. And it's the not knowing her and reading stuff about her are so very different.
Oh, yeah. If I read about me and didn't know me, I think, what a dick.
What an absolute
What a fucking idiot. Like, she's done one show, reel it in. Do you know what I mean?
No, I don't think you're going to come across like that anyway, but...
Well, who knows what I'm going to come across like, because I feel as though I was going through a lot at the time when I was filming. I was in the middle of a court case, constantly having legal calls to pick up. Mm-hmm. It was just really intense, the whole thing. And sometimes you're leaving the house at 5 o'clock in the morning. You know, you've got to be ready, 5 o'clock in the morning, you're leaving the house. So then I'm missing out a breastfeeding session in the morning because she does morning and night. So then obviously I'm like, okay, I want to get back for the evening feeds. Obviously then I'm having to pump. It is just a lot being a mum. Any mum can understand when they're on that sort of routine with their baby. But no, I did every filming day that I was meant to, every hour, all of that. So I don't know where that article came from, but hey ho.
Which I think, again, we revert back to this. This is a place that honesty, or your true events. I can only speak for...
I can only speak for myself.
Yeah, or what I see with Lauren. Yeah. But we can definitely say that this is yours sincerely for a reason.
I get a lot of people on Instagram going, why don't you just put all your receipts out there? Why don't you just, speak your whole truth, etc.? And it's like, I don't feel the need to have to prove anything at the moment because I know what went down. I know what I experienced over the years. Do you know what I mean? I know what was said to me. I know the relationships that's been had. I know everything, because I've been in it. And if people want to write stuff, I never sat there in court and gave my messages over or anything like that for our relationship or anything like that because I'm not there to talk.
Wasn't what the court case was
The court
about,
case
was
wasn't
it?
about me and him. Like, who cares? I don't have to prove my relationship to a judge who's deciding on child maintenance for my children.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? So I still have everything, but it's like, why? I don't feel the need to prove myself. The only times that I've put up stuff on my Instagram is when articles are going out, claiming something or someone said this or someone said that. And it's like, no. That's not true. And let me show you why it's not true.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, don't say he doesn't have an emotional connection to my children because he does. Here's some emotional connections to my children. And that's like nothing compared. Do you know what I mean? So
absolutely.
I'm kind of over it for my kids, to be honest. Like, I'm just sick to the back teeth of media or whoever thinking that they can run articles on my children and ones that they will read in the future. How's that nice for them?
I think you saying this, Lauren, something sort of hit home with me there. A little memory flashed over me.
Not another one.
Yeah, another one. So my son is 4 days older than his half brother and sister.
And who are they?
Connor and India.
Right. And Connor also fights, isn't he?
Connor is a boxer as well. Gave birth to them 4 days after me. And I remember being...
4 days?
4 days.
4 days.
So I'm in hospital giving birth on my own, not even a phone call, absolutely nothing. And, in that time, over the next couple of weeks, 4 days later, she gave birth. I had to open newspapers, Hello magazine, saying my beautiful twins, our babies. And I'm sitting there with my baby after giving him 6 years of my life without even a phone call to say, does he need anything? Yeah. Is he okay? Nothing. And it hurt so much, really hurt. And not even for me, just my child. Like, you didn't even pick the phone up and say, does he need anything? And I'd done it all on my own. And then when Harley was around 8 months, I got a solicitor and I spoke with her and she was like, why should you be living like you are, not being able to go to work? Because obviously I was a single mum and,
the system's
he
crazy
needs
with
to do his bit, which again is another story. I think I've gone completely off track. The reason I brought this up in the first place was what the other kids get told.
Oh.
That's major. What picture
I don't think I've ever really thought about that.
Mum and dad painted to their children, as in Harley's siblings have been told a completely different story, a wrong story. And the reason I know that...
Oh my God, I never really thought about that.
Yeah, have I made that clear?
Yeah, but like, I guess...
What do you tell your kids the reason that you don't see a child that is their brother or sister? What are you telling them?
Well, surely it's got to be the mother's behaviour, because I always read stuff like... Absolutely. Because of the mother's behaviour, just fucking raising the children in the house by herself.
I mean, what a bitch.
Yeah, what a terrible human.
What a bitch.
I know, how dare she? The mother's behaviour, but it was fine to be around the mother's behaviour when it was all a secret and hush,
Absolutely.
But the mother's behaviour, because it's somebody else's fault as to why I can't see my children. That's all I hear is this noise. That's all that's written in the newspapers. All I can go off.
Oh, and
by the way, my conscience is clear. Like, you will never have me feeling guilty or never have me feeling some type of way that I'm the reason why you don't see the kids at the moment. Do you know what I mean? You'll never have me feeling that type of way. like, good luck to anyone that thinks they can make their child in the future believe their version of events or believe, you know, why they weren't around. It's just not going to happen. The child's going to know what's what. Yeah, so my conscience is clear with that. And I can hand on heart say to Cairo and say to Keeks that I did everything I could for you guys. And that, for me, is all that matters. And I'm trying to navigate life day by day, I'd say, because I feel like there's no right or wrong for anyone. Everyone's always in like a different situation, a unique situation. Everyone's situation is different. Even though as similar as ours are, there's also differences. So, and I feel like everyone parents different. And yeah, so I feel like I will navigate that day by day. It's hard when, because I think people are like, well, why don't you just cut him out now? And for me, it's hard because he's everywhere. You know, we'll go in the supermarket, like you said, posters, billboards, stickers, beer cans. If he comes across on TV on an advert, and then Kyra's like, oh, my daddy, da, da, da. And he speaks so highly of him that I don't really want to crush that yet. You know, there'll come a time where naturally it comes to a conversation or whatever, and I'll navigate that, I think.
Kids will find their own way and they will make their own mind up. I dreaded my son seeing his dad for what he really is. Like, I didn't want him to because I knew it would hurt. And he has now.
It took him 27 years, though.
27 years of coming in and out. And then I think...
Do you think that prolonged him, seeing him for what he was, the in and out?
Yeah.
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 Me too, because I've had a lot of people on my Instagram that'll be like, you know, my child hasn't had contact with their dad for X amount of time, and do you know what? They now know who was present, who wasn't, and they know for themselves. And I think one of them was 12, one of them was 8. And they know from early. I mean, kids aren't stupid.
Oh, they're not. I remember...
They pick up on things.
I remember that... Harley was about 10, I'm going to say. He's a mad Arsenal fan. I remember his dad saying, I'm coming back. They were living in Spain now. He moved to Spain. And saying to him, what do you want to do? Anything you want.
Yeah.
And Harley said, I really want to go and watch Arsenal. Now, his dad could have sorted that straight away. And then a couple of days later, he said, actually, no, I can't take you there because I'll be too recognised.
It's like, what does that matter?
He asked him, what do you want to do? Anything. And when he said what he wanted to do, it was like, I'm going to go there with my dad. And then all of a sudden, dad... And those letdowns have been a pattern now up until a year ago.
The thing is, saying that and for him to be so excited to go...
It's heartbreaking. It's...
Oh, I can't even think.
It's just... Well, hopefully...
No, that's...
Please, God,
no chance, sorry.
It doesn't happen to you in any way.
It
but
won't. Because I
tough.
can't allow that for my... I can't let my children be affected mentally.
Yeah.
So someone would probably have to prove that they're consistent. And this goes for family in general.
Yeah.
You know?
And the problem you have is that kids get older, like they find their own way and they...
even grandparents, anyone like that. I always say, if you're not consistent, do not expect me.
Bother.
Yeah, because it's not happening. I'm not having my child wonder where you are in X amount of months because you haven't called or you're annoyed at one of the adults and so you've blocked them. Like, grow up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? This is about the children here. So I'm not interested in the he said, she said, I'm not interested. It
doesn't matter.
I just don't care. So that's where I'm at with that. So for me, if you don't show up and you're not present and consistent...
I made that mistake for sure.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I knew making the decision I did in December that this was going to be the domino effect. Mm-hmm. But I was not prepared mentally for how fucking nuts this went, because I just felt like there was this whole PR campaign, smear campaign against me. But I was prepared for obviously the cutting of the ties.
Yeah.
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 Because...
I get that.
I couldn't take it anymore.
No.
I was fucking ill.
Yeah.
Like, people go, oh, why December? Oh my God, you can see my ribs. I couldn't eat.
I remember you being away and calling me, crying and saying I'm drowning over here.
I was having panic attacks. It was so bad, wasn't it?
It was really bad. Really
I just remember thinking, if I didn't have these children, I would not be here.
Yeah.
That's what I remember thinking, because get me out of this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
what it
awful.
is, you're not in control of your own life or what's being said about you, or it's awful.
But I don't think when you have children with people like that you are in control, really, and that's what I hated. I just want to be me and the kids and me get on with my little merry life,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I quite like the simple things with my children. You know, the memories for me are like a huge, huge thing. Anyone that's followed me from Cairo days, when I've had Cairo, will know that my journey's always been like that. You know, it's not this whole lavish lifestyle that everyone makes up.
Oh, if only that, like, I do laugh because obviously I read stuff about Lauren and I come round and she's got a bun scrunched on her head. I mean, I've turned up
Don't diss the mum bun.
No, I don't have anything wrong with, I'm a gran bum. I have a gran bun. But it couldn't be further from the truth.
No, I'm like a tracky bottom.
Oh, it's so unglamorous here, honestly.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, it's just, I'm just not that mum. I am like a no makeup girl. I know I've got obviously makeup on for this, but I am obviously filming. Like, there's the work mode in me.
I haven't got any makeup on. I'm just au naturel. I woke up like this.
I woke up like this. That's when I
I
go.
woke up like this.
No, honestly, like, if I'm working, then fair enough. Or if I'm going out on a date, or if I'm going on a night out, I'll wear makeup. But otherwise, mum bun, top of the head, no makeup on, free flow clothes, trackies, casual wear. We're all good. We're all good to go.
Grand bun.
Grand bun.
Grand bum and grand bun.
I just love it. How can you? I just love smash her hair up.
100%.
It's just me. So yeah, I'm just not into all that. Obviously, we like the nice holidays, but I do that. I've always had nice holidays from growing up. My dad was, he still is actually a pilot. So
And why shouldn't you?
well, the kids love it. You know, I've got Kyra going, Mum, when are we going to Dubai?
He said that today, didn't
Did he?
he?
What did he say?
Yeah. When are we going on holiday next? I did actually think, right, what about me? I haven't been away for 2 years, but anyway, that's another story. He loves a holiday.
Like, and he's such a good boy on the plane. He's just amazing. He loves swimming over. Oh, honestly.
Yeah,
See, that is what I love. And obviously, you'll get the little trolls that go, well, Kyle's paying for the holiday. Da, 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 da. And it's like, well, I did a trip for him for the Maldives. That was with work. I'd worked really hard. I was pregnant with Keegs. I'd taken Kyra, and that had nothing to do with their dad. But no one ever gave me props for that. Do you know what I mean? They just give me the hate.
Yeah.
But I think I said it in my OK magazine. I was like, I really want to do more of that. I want to do more financially for my children to say, I did that.
100%.
You know, that came from me working hard. So,
well, everything my kids have had or haven't had has been me. We talk about this. I didn't have the privileges, if that's the right word.
No, it is because,
or
I've had
should
to
I
fight
say,
for it.
Harley, absolutely. Harley didn't have the privileges that his siblings have had.
He should have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we didn't. We had a very basic life, but everything, but happy, very happy. And I paid for everything. And I don't mean this horribly. Dad never bought him his school uniform, a winter coat, a pair of football boots, a pair of boxing gloves. Never paid for us to go on holiday. You know, Harley hasn't had any of them privileges. And that's sad, really. And I can only, hopefully Harley will talk about that when he's on here, and it will help other people that go through a similar thing. But
yeah, because we're like the yin and the yang with that.
To see the others.
No.
It makes us sound like this is about finances, but it isn't. But to see
it's the children being treated. It's to do with treatment of the children. I think that's what it is. Like,
and you're all the same. You should all be the same.
But I think people do think that on, you know, I get loads of messages. Why should one child be treated this way and another child be treated that way? They shouldn't. They should all be treated equally. But it's also hard. I mean, only the dad can treat them equally, because when you go through a court system, they can only be treated like similarly. You know, they're never going to get what the other siblings get, and that's just.
But there should be like you say, a similarity. You know, it's like we didn't even get treated to Butlins.
I will do anything for my kids, and I will put myself through hell and back to make sure that they get what they should get. And And people, the media want to write, oh, she loses child maintenance. I didn't see it as a loss. I don't really know what they're seeing as a loss. I got my child maintenance for my kids. Like, where did I lose?
You didn't lose at all.
What? Because we didn't get some aircon and AstroTurf. Okay. If you take that as a loss.
Did you not?
No, it's fucking bacon in the house.
It's
as well.
so sweaty.
It's a joke.
I mean, I would like to ask for aircon, but I don't know if, he's going to get it for me.
Honestly, the bit that kills you is south-facing garden, for one. Number 2, it's like a greenhouse because it's so much glass. And number 3, bless Kyra and Kiki, they are sweating. They've got fans. Don't worry, guys. I've kicked out fans. I have the blinds shut all day, windows open. Oh, honestly, you can't cool down this house.
Betty Swallocks here in this house,
It's
don't you?
mental.
She's got a Fetty Swanny. Help the girl out. For fuck's sake.
Don't talk about my fanny. It might make people get excited.
Okay. And the AstroTurf, why wouldn't you want? I've got to ask this. Why wouldn't you want your little boy to have AstroTurf? Not anyone in particular, any man, if you could afford it.
Yeah.
All kids love football. Why would you
he
not?
knows how much Kyra loves football.
Yeah.
Kyra's obsessed with football, and it was made out like it was just for Kiki. I've got 2 children.
Yeah.
One's played football
understand
since
that.
he was 16 months, and the other one, she just started.
That's one thing I don't understand. Well, it's one of many things I don't understand.
Well, it's fine, because when the question comes up when they're older, you get a straight answer. Your dad didn't want to give you AstroTurf.
Yeah.
Your dad didn't want you to have aircon.
Your dad wanted you to sweat.
Yeah, it's just straight up answers to the questions.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything's easy for me.
Yeah.
I asked. It was a no.
Mine. Your dad didn't want you to be warm in winter.
Yeah.
Your dad didn't want you to get a suntan.
If in the future anything happens to their child maintenance or whatever games are played or whatever, I just simply turn around to the kids and go, well, you can't have that anymore because this has happened.
Yeah.
Anything's going to be provided with such an honest answer that the kids will know what's what.
Yeah.
End of. Thanks for listening to the podcast Yours Sincerely with me, Lauryn Goodman.
And me, Lisa Andrews.
And we hope to see you again next week. Take care. Bye.